Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. It's Jeff from Fluent American welcoming you to another episode of the Schwa Mill, where we help you craft your accent every single Saturday at this time, 1:30 p.m. in New York. We'll be with you for the next hour and a half or so, looking at your pronunciation files. I will go through the steps so that way you can send in your own pronunciation files so we can take a look at your accent and give suggestions and things. Just want to give some quick hellos before we get started, though. Hello, firstly, to my mom for joining us. Great to see you, Mom. Hope you guys have a safe trip back. Sorry that we couldn't see you this Thanksgiving. Hello also to Emmanuel checking in as well. And something that would be really helpful for me to know, too, whether you're watching this on the replay for the first time or in the live stream for the first time, just kind of saying, hey, it's my first time here. Just trying to see what everything's about. And of course, we also have a poll going too. So if you've been to many, many, many more, you can also let me know too. I see, for instance, right now, 3 people have said that they have come to at least 6+ episodes of the Schwa. That's amazing. And one person saying their first time. Hello to Shok. Congratulations again to Saudi Arabia for their first win against Argentina. For those of you following the World Cup. Sorry about the Poland match. Saudi's looking really good. Hello also to Prabjot as well. Thank you for checking in once more. But you guys may be wondering, how do I send in my own pronunciation file? So I kind of want to walk you through the process. Give me a moment to share my screen with you so you can see how everything is going. Oh, and also a nice little novelty too. We are streaming to Facebook as well. So if you're watching from Facebook, great to see you. I may be referring to some features that only appear on YouTube. Okay, it's just a note on that. If you want to find out how to send in your own files and things, I would say, hey, go to youtube.com/fluentamerican if you'd like me to look at your own pronunciation files. But great to see you. But this is the documents. This is what we see with pronunciation files. So we're using a website called vocab.com. You can see directions up top. And in case you're not sure of this link, there's a link to it in the video description. But you can also find it here in the chat. Okay. Especially if you're following. Oh, Facebook changed things, so I can post on Facebook now. That's cool. They're not always used to be that way. Anyways, if you follow that link, you will be able to send in your own pronunciation files as well. So we'll take a look at them. But this is the document that you're going to see. So you can see some people have already started sending us files. In addition to that, they've shown me the sentences that they're saying. You don't have to write the sentence, but it's helpful in case we have any issues regarding understanding things that were said, just to make sure everything's really clear. When you go to vocab.com, the first thing you're going to see when you log in is probably something that has like a big, fat, red record button. And if you click that record button, what's going to happen is it's going to send you, basically to send in your audio. After you do that, it's going to say save. You click save, and it's going to give you pretty much a link like this. And if you type in that link and you put it in our document, we'll be able to see it and hear your audio files. So I'm excited to listen to you guys and give some suggestions. Don't feel like you have to, though. You can learn plenty about American English just by listening to the feedback we give to other people, because the mistakes or things or problems or issues that other people are having, many other people have as well. So lots of universal things to comment on. Hello also to Elchin checking in. Elchin's been a guest member of our Telegram group. Trying to see what it's like getting feedback from me every single day of the week in our pronunciation group on Telegram. Talk more about that a little bit later. It's great to see you as well. And also hope Shok enjoyed her day off since she was at the beach. She's excited. Okay, trying to think if there's any other housekeeping things that we need to discuss. But if you guys think of other questions and things that you have for me, then you can be sure to post them in the chat, and I'll be happy to give some questions. Then asks a great question. This is my first time when following you. That's great. Great to have you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So basically, we're going to be listening to pronunciation files that people send us and giving some suggestions and things to help them sound more natural. So you can send us a file as well. And hello to Yes checking in. It's great to see you. Hope you can send us a pronunciation file if that's something that interests you. If not, I hope that the information we give is going to be helpful. All right. I think that's everything from my end. So you guys didn't come here just to hear me talking about things. You want to get some feedback. I understand that. So let's get right into it, shall we?
Oh, let me add myself there, right? Again, it's not little, it's more little.
The G host was class.
Are you feeling that here, or here?
Sorry if you guys got an echo. Seriously, I have put on my headphones so that way I can hear what you're hearing, and you guys will be able to as well once I start sharing everything. And of course, as we go through, if you have questions, be sure to let me know. But let's take a look and see what we got here. I'll share my audio. Okay, so these are all our pronunciation files and things. Also, before we get right into it, Emmanuel asks a great question. Just pulled it up on the other screen. Emmanuel asks, do you use a held T sound on the word mantle, or do you keep the T? Mantle. I think that I would probably just remove the T, honestly. A lot of times when you get those T's after letter N, they're just taken off. Mantle. If you just use man and then followed by a dark L, I think you'll be in good shape. Okay, so like mantle on the mantle. Some people will pronounce the T, though. You can't say mantle. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that if you choose to. But mantle or mantle. It's a nice little word there, not one you say necessarily every single day of the week. And of course, as we go through this, keep in mind I'll be floating different polls and things. So right now, again, you can let me know how many episodes of the Schwa Mill you have seen. Right now, leading is the 6+ group. So great to see all of you guys back. All right, so let's take a look at this first file here. Make sure I'm sharing my audio.
Yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery. Today's is a gift. That's why it's called the present.
Okay, let me hear that again.
Yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery. Today's is a gift. That's why it's called the present.
I'm going to type in the text just in case anyone has some issues hearing that, but to me I thought that was very clear.
Yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery. Today's is a gift. That's why it's called the present.
That's why it's called the present. So Marcos, as always, hitting up the expressions and things like that, which we appreciate. So this is our little phrase here. So yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, today is a gift. That's why it's called today's a gift. That's why it's called the present. Let's listen to the first part, kind of break it into smaller sections just to see if we can get some feedback for that.
Yesterday's history.
Because the very first thing I want to say for history, I'm not sure if you guys could notice that, but one thing I felt like I was hearing was a almost more like an E sound. It's like hees versus hiss. So again, history is going to be more of a short I sound, not an E sound. This is a very, very common point of confusion, something we're going to touch on in a video very soon.
Yesterday's history.
Do that. Yesterday's history. Yesterday's history. Compare that to yesterday's history. Yesterday's history. Okay, your difference between hiss and hiss. So watch out for that. If that short I sound is difficult for you, just some little tips that can be helpful. So the very back of your tongue is going to be down. The very tip of your tongue is going to be down too. The middle of your tongue is going to be slightly raised. And again, the sound you're going for is like eh. It's like heh, heh. The sides of your tongue also can touch your top teeth. So it's almost like you're biting the sides of your tongue just a little bit. It's like eh. Don't bite hard, no blood. Don't want to cause any injuries. Don't want to send anyone to the hospital. Let's hear that again.
Yesterday's history. Tomorrow's a mystery.
Listen to tomorrow's.
Tomorrow's
history.
Tomorrow's a
tomorrow. A lot of times tomorrow's actually starts with more of a schwa sound instead of an oo sound. I also feel like we're getting a bit of like an eu sound. That's usually a trait more common in like British English, doing like an eu, like tu. American English, again, this will be more to, oo, to, oo, to. Okay. So just a note on that. Tomorrow's
a mystery. Today's is a gift.
We see that again with today. I feel like I'm hearing like today versus today. So just another thing to kind of check out there a little bit is just make sure to, again, I would use a schwa sound there instead of a tu. Other things standing out.
Today's is a gift.
Today's is a gift. Again, we're kind of running into similar things that we saw at the beginning of this audio file with the short I sound. So notice that is a gift. Is a gift. Hear that short I sound. So it's not is a gift. It's more is a gift. Just watch out for that.
Today's is a gift.
Is a gift versus is a gift.
Today's is a gift. That's why it's called the present.
That's why it's called the present. Okay, then I have some comments I want to make about pitch, but Emmanuel does ask the question here. Do you clip the ending in history, or do you pronounce all the syllables in American English, like history or history? History. I would say history to me sounds more like it almost has more of a British feel. Again, I do not speak British English, so if anyone here, if Edward is here, he's our British English expert, I feel. He can let us know how it's pronounced in British English. But I would say in American English, much more common to hear all three syllables, which is a little bit unusual, right? Usually when you think of American English, you think of lots of reductions and syllables that go missing. But I would definitely recommend doing three syllables. History, history. I will say, though, that you want to make sure that first syllable is very strong. The second and the third syllable you can make very weak and very fast. So it's not history, it's history. History. Hear how fast those are. But great question from Emmanuel. Really appreciate that. The other comment I want to make for this audio file is regarding some pitches and stresses and things, because I think this was read fine, very clearly, but I do think there's some opportunities to make it a little bit more engaging, a little bit more expressive. Sounds a little bit like you're reading, and I don't want this to sound like you're reading. I want it to sound like you could actually use it, in conversation.
Yesterday's history.
Yesterday's history. So that, one option could be going up a little higher on your stressed words in terms of pitch. So instead of yesterday's history, because that's a little bit flat, versus yesterday's history, history. Going just a little higher on that first syllable.
Tomorrow's a mystery.
Tomorrow's a mystery. Yesterday's history. Tomorrow's a mystery. Tomorrow's a mystery. So notice I'm adding more pitches there, right? So like tomorrow's. Notice how low I'm going on tomorrow at the end. Tomorrow's a mystery. And again, going higher on the pitch on tomorrow's a mystery.
Today's is a gift.
Today is a gift. Today is a gift. I feel like you're contracting today is a.
Today's is a gift.
I feel like you're saying today's is a. So you have to make a choice, right? So we're going to either say today is a gift, where you contract it, or don't contract it. Today is a gift. Either one of those. Okay. But we don't want to just kind of do both. So like today is a gift. Let's just watch out for that contraction. And again, you probably want something to go a little higher in pitch.
Today's is a gift. That's why it's called the present.
And I would have gone really heavy stress on that. That's why it's called the present. So altogether, with all those pitch suggestions and things, I would recommend saying, yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Something like that, I think, would give you a more natural pitch pattern, in addition to all those things that we mentioned in terms of the vowels and things like that. So, Marcos, thank you so much for sending that file. If anything we said is not clear, sure let me know, but we always appreciate seeing you. So always a great thing. Okay. Just again, some quick reminders in case you're joining us for the first time. Welcome. This is the Schwa Mill, where basically every single Saturday at this time, what we do is we take a look at your pronunciation files and we give some suggestions in terms of basically intonation patterns, pitch, linking, reduction, stress, vowel sounds, consonant sounds. And again, we do this show every single Saturday on the channel. Today, we're welcoming also our fun Facebook friends. So if you're watching from Facebook, be sure to let us know too. Great to know that. And of course, if you have some questions about pronunciation as we go through this or anything related to American English, you can let us know as well. Also, let me know if your country is being represented in the World Cup. Let us know how you're doing. U.S. played yesterday, England. I actually thought they looked like the better team for the majority of it, but a draw is a draw. You get what you get. Let's take a look at our next pronunciation file. I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, and again, you can send us your own pronunciation files in our document. Ooh, I always forget to timestamps. I always forget to leave timestamps. I'm going to guess that we did that maybe around the 5-minute mark for Marcos. Almoden asks, it's possible to share this video online with friends? Yeah, please. Anyone that you think would be helpful in terms of if they're interested in American English and trying to improve, and you think they would want to get some feedback or just hear other people's feedback, that would be great. Yeah, thank you for asking. Next shot.
My brother searched the earth.
So Sycamore. And we are at, where's our time? And again, if you're watching on the replay, keep an eye out for those timestamps I'll be including, so that way you can quickly find different people's feedback. We were at the 15:30 mark. I think this was Sycamore's.
My brother searched the earth for the perfect girl. Finally, he found her somewhere in Greece. And now they're planning on next year.
So this is our file here. It's going from Sycamore, I believe.
My brother searched the earth for the perfect girl.
You know, one general comment is it does sound to me almost like sounds like you're reading. This doesn't, I wouldn't say that this sounds natural, like in a conversation. You know, so just kind of something to keep in mind. But some things that can help make this sound a little bit more natural.
My brother searched the earth for...
Watch out for that schwa sound on brother. That tends to be a very tricky sound. A lot of people are doing bra, bra, like brother, brother, versus bruh, bruh, brother, brother.
My brother searched the earth for the perfect girl.
My brother searched the earth for perfect girl. Emmanuel notes that my audio is lagging. Hopefully, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. Apologize if the audio does come in a little bit delayed. You can darken your screen or not watch me. Just try to get the audio and not be distracted by the video. I'm sorry about that, Emmanuel. Hopefully it catches up. Well, also to Justin checking in. Great to see you back, Justin. Send us a file if you're interested. But going back.
My brother searched the earth for the perfect girl.
Okay, lots of very difficult R sounds here, but I think in general they sounded pretty good. Let's kind of just listen to those.
My brother searched the earth for...
Search the earth. I do think on earth you could have got a little bit more open. That tends to be a tricky sound. Like if you're doing like earth, it sounds to me like your placement's a little bit high, like the back of your tongue might be too high. It also seems to be that you're kind of projecting from back here. But again, it's going to be more earth. So it's not earth, it's more earth. So this is kind of something to watch out for there.
My brother searched the earth for the perfect girl.
And then kind of a similar note there again on perfect. Like I think it's obviously very clear. I understand what you're saying. I do think it could be just a little bit more open, a little bit more breath coming through on that sound on perfect. Try to do this sort of progression like perfect, perfect. That's actually something that we talked about recently. In fact, I think yesterday in Mission English, which is a private group I have, where we do live streams every single day of the week. And that's something that we discussed. We'll talk more about Mission English a little bit later.
For the perfect girl.
Girl. I thought girl in general sounded pretty good.
Girl.
Maybe you could get slightly more air through on that L if you wanted, but I don't think that this is an issue. Compare girl versus girl. Girl. That second one is in general the one you want because it's going to have a little bit more air passing through. It's going to just kind of sound a little bit more fluid.
For the perfect girl. Finally, he found her somewhere in Greece.
That intonation pattern and that rhythm isn't very common in American English. We'll talk about some adjustments. Before we do that, though, some little things on some words.
Girl. Finally, he found her.
I want to hear finally again.
Perfect girl.
Finally, the E sound there, it sounds a little bit tense at the end. This is very common when you have an E sound at the end of a word. Make sure you're not getting into like E, which might be a little bit more similar to what you would find in your first language. In general, in American English, it's going to be a little lower in terms of placement, projecting from a lower spot. Try to feel your diaphragm, your stomach kind of tense slightly. So more of an E. And in addition to that, you want to make sure that you're not feeling a whole lot of vibration in your head. You want to feel that vibration lower too. So it's not E. When I do that, my whole head kind of shakes. E, really kind of feel it in my jaw and my teeth. When I really want to feel it down here, I don't want to feel a whole lot of movement in my head area. So more E. Finally, it's just a note on that.
Earth for the perfect girl. Finally, he found.
Finally, I would also say you kind of cut off that last E sound a little bit.
Finally, he found her.
Finally, he versus like finally he found her. You're also giving me kind of the same pitch twice, like finally he. And in general, in American English, you don't want to have the same pitch appear twice in a row. You want something usually it's going to go down for a reduction. Okay, it's like finally he found her. It's like finally he found her.
Girl. Finally, he found her.
So finally he found her versus like finally he found her. Finally he found. Do you notice that difference there? Like finally he found. So it's like down, 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 up. Finally he found. So I think that sort of pattern will help that sound a little more natural.
Finally, he found her somewhere in Greece.
Found. I want to hear found her again.
He found her.
Found her. Found her. Here's a little note that Emmanuel will like. We could reduce this more. So a lot of times words like he, her, they, them. These are words, well, especially like the object pronouns, like her, him, them. A lot of times, those first letters, the H or the TH sound, are going to get removed in terms of linking. You can say found her, that's fine, but maybe a more common situation would be founder, founder. I think in general, it's going to be a little bit more frequent.
Finally, he found her.
Exactly. Emmanuel just notes about the found her instead of found her. Exactly. Finally, found her.
He found her somewhere in Greece.
Also want to hear somewhere. Somewhere. And again, so found her is going to sound more like this. Found her. Found her. Thanks to Emmanuel for writing that. Okay. And in addition to that,
Her somewhere in Greece.
finally he found her somewhere in Greece.
Finally, he found her somewhere in Greece.
So you're kind of giving me a lot of stresses. Finally, he found her somewhere in Greece. Like, finally, he found her somewhere in Greece. Finally, he found her somewhere in Greece. Finally, found her somewhere in Greece. So I don't think somewhere is going to get some stress. I would take off that stress. I would also probably try to weaken that W sound a little bit.
He found her somewhere in Greece.
Somewhere. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's the some. Want to hear that schwa sound?
Her somewhere.
Do that some versus some. So I would again recommend more of a schwa sound. I feel like we're almost getting into ah territory, like somewhere versus somewhere. He found her somewhere. The other thing that might make this easier too is keep in mind somewhere. I would reduce it, so make it weaker, lower the pitch, and say it faster. So even if you have like not the clearest vowel sound, in a lot of ways, it doesn't really matter because it's said so fast. He found her somewhere in Greece. He found her somewhere in Greece. He found her somewhere in Greece.
In Greece.
And again, Greece, I think we're getting slightly tense on that E sound again, too. It's like Greece versus Grace. If you're finding that difficult in terms of placement, what you can do is try going down a couple of times. Okay, it's like Greece, 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 Greece. So that's each time my E sound's going lower, like E, 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 E. Okay, I'm also opening up my throat more to try to get more air through. So I think those are just some little things that can help open up that sound there on Greece. Finally, I found her somewhere in Greece. See if there's other things about this file I want to mention.
My brother searched the earth for the perfect girl.
My mom makes a note that for this sentence, this part of the sentence, that it might help to actually stress perfect more. That certainly is an option for the perfect girl. Now, my brother searched the earth for the perfect girl. I would even suggest stress perfect, but also stress girl, for the perfect girl. Perfect girl. Something like that can be pretty effective as well, just in terms of stress patterns.
Perfect girl. Finally, he found her somewhere in Greece. And now they're planning on marrying next year.
And now they're planning.
Found her somewhere in Greece. And now they're planning on marrying next year.
Planning on marrying. Just a quick note. This might be more of an American English thing. By the way, El Moden, I see your comment. I'll be there in a moment. Planning on marrying. That might work more in British English. I would say in American English, you're more likely to hear on getting married. They're planning on getting married. A wedding. Those are phrases that I think would be a little bit more common. They're planning on getting married. Planning on getting married. Just a note there. Hello, also to Auntie Car's there. Hey, Auntie Car. I'm sorry I couldn't get your food. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. So planning on getting married. But let's go back to the original phrase and kind of talk about what's being done.
Somewhere in Greece. And now they're planning on marrying next year.
Now they're planning on getting married next year. And now they're planning on getting married next year. And now they're planning on getting married next year. So I think you could stress now. And then I would stress marrying if this is the word choice you want, or married if you're using getting married. So like now they're planning on marrying next year. And now they're planning on getting married next year. Those are the stress patterns that I think would be more common.
Finally, he found her somewhere in Greece. And now they're planning on marrying next year.
And now they're planning on getting married. I probably wouldn't stress planning. I don't think you need to stress that.
Finally, he found her somewhere in Greece. And now they're planning on marrying next year.
They're planning on getting married. They're planning on going. A lot of times when you have planning followed by another verb, like planning on doing something, planning doesn't get stressed. It's the word after it. So those would be my big suggestions on that file. Thank you so much to Sycamore for sending that. I do appreciate it as always. Just want to check in on the chat and see what's going on. Let me see. So Elmoden says, sorry, I think it's about intonation, like starting down to up. Yeah, for sure. I think something that could have helped with that sentence would have been kind of just playing around with the different patterns and things like that. Because I think the pattern that was being used there just sounded a lot more like it was being read, more than sounded like it was part of a natural conversation that was oral or spoken. So listen to the suggestions of how I read it, and I'll give you an idea of some ways that you could say that in a conversation and still kind of get a natural flow. Thank you so much for that comment. And again, welcome. If you're joining us for the first time, say hey in the chat. If you're a lurker, if you've seen our stream before, but you've never said hello, can you say hey? Just say hey. Hi. Let me know you're here. And then you can go back to lurking. I won't bother you again, I promise. And of course, as I took a quick water break, just a gentle reminder. But if you are joining us for the first time, again, this is the Schwa Mill. It's the weekly American English pronunciation show. I don't know of any other weekly pronunciation shows, especially ones like this, where we review your pronunciation files that you send me, and we give suggestions to help you achieve a more natural accent in American English pronunciation. I would love to know if you're watching this and you've chosen American English as your preferred accent, especially against British English. I know many people have training in British English just based on how schools teach. It's the more common system, especially in Europe. So why are you choosing American English? Are you working with clients in North America? Or you just like the sound better? What are the reasons? Why are we choosing American English over British English? And what brings you here today? You guys are studying American English on a Saturday. Just kind of want to throw that out there. We're very early on a Sunday morning. So that's always fun. It's great to have you here. I'm about to throw up a new poll question just to let you know right now we have how many Schwab Mill episodes have you guys seen? Right now, 6. So almost half of you have seen 6 or more episodes. So I do appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming out so consistently. I do appreciate that. I do have a couple people here. It's their first time. That's great. Always great to see new people. Hope that you guys say hello and send us some pronunciation files. But let's take a look at our next one. Give me a moment to share our screen. Take a look at one more file, and we'll go over some opportunities that we have coming up. All right, let's see what file this one is.
To be honest, the last 3 team leaders have been hired from within the company, and sometimes it's hard to think outside the box when you've been inside the box for a while.
So what's your time? We're at 29:22. My mom is also curious about why people are choosing to study American English. I might actually make that a poll really quick. Give me 1 second. We're going to end our first poll. Thank you for those of you who put something up. So why are you studying American English? For work? Because you like the sound? Because you're in the US or North America? just for another reason. Posting that poll, let me know. It'd be helpful to find out that information. But right now we have Emmanuel's file. I think I saved. Emmanuel notes that he enjoys the melody of it. Yes, it's definitely very English, very different from British English in that regard. Definitely very different. Okay, so we got Kyle on screen. Just short enough to fit in one box, which is great. Let's see what we got here.
To be honest, the last 3 team leaders have been hired from within the company.
Okay, let's kind of just start with that sentence again.
To be honest,
watch out for that that short I sound. What I would say is the short I sound honest on that second syllable because it gets reduced. So instead of honest, more honest, a little bit more eh. Okay. Also just want to give a quick thank you to whatchamacallit. Give me 1 second, just gotta block someone. Hey, thanks for the nice content. Really enjoyed live streams. Thank you, Vivid. I appreciate those comments. Thank you. Appreciate that. And yeah, I think a lot of times when people choose British or American English, I think that's one of the things they're really thinking about, in all honesty, is how formal or casual it sounds. Okay. This is because I don't want to stand out when playing with my other native speaking friends, but now it's just for fun. Just, are you playing some games? What you playing? On? I'm guessing you're playing some online stuff. Let me know what you're taking part in. Let's take a look at our original file here.
To be honest, the last 3 team leaders have...
To be honest, again, that original point that we mentioned.
To be honest...
So it feels like you're almost giving me a schwa sound. I would recommend it instead of short I.
The last 3 team leaders...
Also watch out for that ass sound on last. In fact, I recently put out a video on the ass sound, and I think that'll be really helpful.
The last 3 team leaders...
You hear that lost versus last. So again, ass sound, you can open your mouth and make yourself bigger so you can see some suggestions for mouth position for the ah. That is a tricky sound. Okay, so for your ass sound, you want your you're going to feel a little bit more tension in terms of your lips because you're kind of stretching this way a little bit. Ah. Do you hear that? Versus like a schwa sound where ah. So notice, you can see my dimple coming out. Ah. Okay. Other things too is the middle of your tongue rises in the back and the front of your tongue are down. So it's not ah. It's more ah. And one way you can really quickly check yourself is make sure that you can see back into. You won't be able to see back into your throat because your tongue's too high. So again, ah. You can see my tongue, nice and fat in there. Ah. Compare that to ah. See how much lower it is? Ah. Okay. It's just kind of something to watch out for there for last. So to be honest, the last, there are many more exercises and comparisons you can do. If you're interested in this, that ass sound. One thing that we're doing right now, if you guys are not aware, let me go back to the share screen. Let me find my mouse. I always lose my mouse. Here we go, back. Okay, so on the channel, one that we're doing right now. In fact, we're almost done. Guys, it's Novenglish. Do you guys know what Novenglish is? For every day in November, I've been putting out one video. Videos tend to be very short. You can see here like 2 minutes, 1 minute 40, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, like max. So we've been doing some really quick videos every single day in November. These are going through all of the fundamentals of American English. So if you're studying American English, but you're not sure where to begin, this is for you. These 30 videos are going to give you all of the fundamentals. They're not going to go super in depth, but it's enough to get started so you can start practicing your listening and start practicing your speaking a little bit to improve your pronunciation. At the end of the 30 days, all of these 30 concepts are what I've deemed to be the 30 most important concepts to get a natural sound in American English pronunciation. So take your time with them. You can do a video a day. You can do all of them at once. I know some people are doing a little bit of both. You guys can let me know in the chat if you have started, or if you've been following us for Novenglish. How many Novenglish videos have you seen? be sure to let us know whether it's just one, none, or all of them. Are you doing the whole journey with me? Also, just a quick look at our poll right now. So we've got the majority of people, over half of people, choose American English because they enjoy the sound. A couple people are choosing because of work reasons. Some people are in the U.S. or North America. If you're that person in North America, let me know. Who's that person in North America that's studying American English? It'd be great to know that. And as Emmanuel says, Happy Novenglish. Happy Novenglish to everyone. Novenglish is almost over. Emmanuel has seen every single one of them. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I appreciate that, man. You know I appreciate that. Emmanuel's great. Edward also making his grand entrance. Finally, we have someone who can answer our British English questions. That is always super helpful. But anyways, so we have a video out in our challenge that looks at the sounds. I think you can actually find it. Yeah. So if you look at the 30-day challenge, and if you scroll, it's not in the first batch. It's in the second batch because we have this one on that sound. I'm just going to kind of compare it to the sound versus the I mean, you've probably already seen that video, but there may be other people who have not. So if you're trying to take a look at the sound, that is going to be helpful for you. Okay. Yes. And happy Novenglish. Happy Novenglish to us all. Anyways, going back to Emmanuel's original file.
To be honest, the last three team leaders have been.
The last three team leaders, I would choose a stress. I probably wouldn't put a stress on last and on team. I would pick one, like the last three team leaders, or the last three team leaders, instead of the last three team leaders. Just kind of something to pick out in terms of stress there.
Last three team leaders have been hired from within the company.
So I think the way you did it was okay.
Team leaders have been hired from within the company.
So you're stressing company. Have been hired from within the company.
Last three team leaders have been hired from within the company.
I would have maybe played with stressing within. Have been hired from within the company. Because that kind of seems to be the main point here, is that, like, especially looking at the second sentence, because again, people inside the box, so people just choosing inside the company. So that within, to me, feels like the most important point. So I personally probably would have stressed that from within the company. Last three team leaders have been hired from within the company. Just a minor note on stress.
And sometimes it's hard to think outside the box.
I don't think you needed to stress box. You could just stress hard.
Sometimes it's hard to think outside the box.
Dude, hard to think outside the box. I do think you could also get a little bit more open on your sound with box. Okay, it's like ba, box, ba, box. I would practice that progression, honestly. My mom notes that she agrees that within would make very good sense on that sentence. It's just a note there. Okay. So I don't think you need to stress box. It's hard to think outside the box.
And sometimes it's hard to think outside the box when you've been inside the box for a while.
Sometimes it's hard to think outside the box when you've been inside the box for a while. And then I would stress inside. So again, it's hard to think outside the box when you've been inside the box for a while. Those would be that in terms of like rhythm and pitch. Those would be the words I would go for myself.
In the company. And sometimes it's hard to think outside the box when you've been inside the box for a while.
I like what you did for a while. I like your drop off and pitch, not stressing anything there. I think that's good. So just kind of pay attention to those things I mentioned for rhythm. I think that'll really help open things up for you for that sentence. Okay. Emmanuel, let me know if you have any questions for me, but that's some basic feedback for you there. I think they'll change some things. Thank you as always for sending that. Okay. If you guys have been finding this helpful, let me know in the chat. Be like, yes, super helpful. No, horrible. Never coming back. Let me know your thoughts. It'd be great to see those. Let's see. Edward asks, use within instead of outside. Hard to think outside the box when you've been. Where was the within again? Do you use the word within instead of outside because this word will be used in the following sentence, like outside the box? Let me look at the original sentence again for within. To be honest, the last name have been hired from within the company. Instead of inside, use within instead of outside. Do you use within instead of outside? Do you mean inside? Do you use within instead of inside the company? I think that you could say the question here is do you use within? You could use inside again. I don't think that's an issue if you use inside. I think you could also use within. It's nice to have the variety, but it's not necessarily something that you're thinking about all the time when you're speaking. So I think either of them can work there. That's a great question. All right, and Emmanuel says, lots of great feedback. Thank you so much. Thank you, Emmanuel. Always great to see your files, man. Now, Emmanuel and a couple other people here too are members of our Mission English group. And so what Mission English is basically, if you're enjoying these live streams and you can see me on screen and then you can see me again over there, but what if you could be over there instead of my twin? What if you could join me on a live stream, ask me questions and get feedback like live, and then kind of respond and we do exercises together and get feedback? Well, the good news is that you can. We have a program called Mission English, which basically gives you access to my private group on Facebook where we live stream Monday through Friday for a half hour, something that you can take advantage of yourself. And I just want to give you a quick example. What does it look like when you actually are in Mission English? Just a quick note, sometimes the audio comes in hot, so you may want to turn down your microphone a little bit or your speakers.
Ooh, ooh. Notice that for me, I'm not really having that ooh, ooh. And it doesn't sound exactly the same, like ooh and ooh, but they're close enough that for the speech that you're doing in daily life, it'll be okay. Really nice day.
Really nice day.
So what I'm hearing, so I heard really nice day. So what happened was you put day at a lower pitch. Really nice day.
Just loose.
Okay. I would say, I thought for the most part it sounded pretty good. I think there were a couple words that we do want to watch out for a little bit. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Yeah, there you go. That last one's great.
So again, Mission English is our private Facebook group. We do live streams every single day, Monday through Friday. And you join me on screen. We do exercises together. So if you're trying to get some pronunciation feedback every single day, do some different exercises. And another thing too is that hearing other people, some people get nervous about that. They're like, no, I want a one-on-one class because I want to make, I just think that I'll learn faster. And I kind of disagree, because when you have a group setting, you hear other people and you hear my feedback for them. And a lot of times, yeah, people have different accents, but the things people are doing, even with the different accents, are very related. People are tenser. People are not getting enough breath through. And so it's really helpful in that group setting to hear what other people are doing and then hearing that feedback that I'm giving. Because when you talk, you don't really hear yourself. You're inside your head, you sound different. This is why a lot of people don't like how they sound when they're recording themselves, because your skull really makes your sound warmer, more resonant, it sounds pleasant. And then when you listen to your recording, you're like, I hate my voice. A lot of people have that experience. And so by hearing other people and hearing the feedback that I give from them, it can be just such a very helpful experience, and you can apply it to yourself. So Mission English, you can find out more about that at fluentamerican.com/Mission English. And it is also one of those things that the more the merrier. It's just, we're like a little family. Like, we get to talk to each other. We get to focus on things with English, but other things. And there's also things that I can do in the private group that I can't necessarily do on the YouTube. It's definitely a better experience with more people and things like that. So that, trying to get some feedback, something to take a look at. Delayed hello to Nazrul. Great to see you again. And Edward makes a quick note as well. The reason I ask questions about grammar rather than focusing on English is because I'm currently doing a technical writing course. Oh, that's great. What kind of technical writing are you trying to do? You're trying to write like manuals and things like that? Let us know what you're focusing on. By the way, guys, let us know what your goals are with English. Why are you studying English? A lot of people are doing it for work reasons. And again, going back to our poll, why are people studying American English? Right now, 50% people saying they're doing it because they like the sound. Next closest majority is for other reasons or for work. So I'm guessing people are involved with American English clients, things like that. Okay, I'm going to take a look at our next pronunciation file. gonna try to remember timestamps. Timestamps. Never forget timestamps, people. Never forget timestamps. It's gonna make your experience much easier on the replay. Give me a moment to share my screen. Put myself over there.
Soft you. Order to before you go. I've done the state of service and they know it. No more of that.
I'm going to focus. That was from Ashok. Thank you for sending that file, Ashok. Always great to hear from you. Let me see. Again, my mom also asked Edward what kind of technical writing they're doing. Okay, let's play that audio file once more.
Soft you.
I really like that. Lots of breath. Listen to that U sound. That tends to be a very difficult sound, but this has sounded very good.
Soft you.
You. Do you hear all that breath coming through? That's a very easy sound to kind of tense and close off like you. That's the way a lot of people are pronouncing it versus you. Like lots of breath coming through. Really like that, show.
Soft you. Order to before you go. Soft you. Order to before you go.
A word or two before you go. I think you could have played with pitches a little bit more here. I would have gone a little higher on word in terms of your stress. Would just raise that pitch a little bit. Just make that stand out a little bit more. Like a word or two before you go. A word or two before you go.
Soft you. Word or two before you go.
Word or two before. I think because you're also, in terms of pitches, you're kind of getting lulled into this, kind of giving me the same pitch over and over again, which is giving you a slightly less natural sound.
You. Word or two before you go.
Do you hear that rhythm? So it's a little sing-songy.
You. Word or two before you go.
And in general, again, American English doesn't really like those sing-songy patterns. We want to try to mix it up and add some contrast. A word or two before you go. So like something like that would have helped break it up a little bit.
I've done the state of service.
And again, we're kind of again getting lulled into that pattern. And it's hard, especially with like poems or literature and things like that, because they're paying so much attention to rhythm and trying oftentimes getting into that sort of consistent pattern. But I think it's really important when you're reading poems or reading literature to, just because it's written on the page a certain way or it's following a certain meter doesn't mean that we have to follow that exactly when we're reading it.
Word or two before you go. I've done the state of service.
I've done the state some service. So I would either stress done. I've done the state some service. Or the other option would be service. I've done the state some service. I've done the state some service. So regardless, what we need is a greater variety of pitches. If you stress done, I've done the state some service. I've done the state some service. Notice that down, 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 down. I've done the state some service. Or if you're stressing service, I've done the state some service. I've done the state some service. So that those would be some more natural pitch rhythms, I think, in terms of getting more natural sound there. Next part looks like British English a little bit.
Done the state of service,
Old English.
and they know it.
And I'm glad that you pronounced and said note more, know it, and they know it, and they know it. I would go higher pitch on no, and they know it.
State of service, and they know it.
And they know it, and they know it. You do go up, which is great. Go higher, exaggerate, just add a little bit more. I think it'll be great.
And they know it. No more of that.
No more of that. No more of that. No more of that. Go heavy on more. No more of that. No more of that.
No more of that.
No more of that. It almost sounds like you're stressing that. I would stress more no.
No more of that.
I wouldn't stress that. Okay. I think that's the end of that section. Okay. And then just a quick note. Othello is a tragic play written by William Shakespeare. Good reading for everyone if you're interested in that sort of literature. Thanks to Edward for letting us know what his course is about. So he's doing a software-oriented course aimed at writing software manuals. That sounds very complicated. It also sounds kind of dry. I'm not going to lie. Is it like exciting stuff to write, or is it kind of complicated and almost putting you to sleep? Let me know your thoughts on that, Edward. I imagine the money's good. I mean, that's something that's always going to be in demand. Give a nice warm welcome to Alejandro. Thank you so much for joining us today. Alejandro, have you been to the stream before? Let me know. I don't recognize your name, but maybe I missed it before. I also like that picture. I like that. Emmanuel writes, I love American English. It's my passion. This way I love the journey as much as the end goal. Yeah, you have to. I think with languages, you have to enjoy the process of learning languages. Because if you're just learning a language just for like work reasons or like for money and things like that, I mean, you can look at the research. The research literally shows you everything. People who are doing it for external factors like jobs, income, things like that, they just do not go as far in terms of their language learning as people who are motivated. Because you're more willing to put in the grind. You're more willing to put in the time, and you enjoy it. It's fun. It should be fun. Love journey as much as Engo. I probably wouldn't be this excited if I was 100%. If you have an external pressure or some other motivation for doing it, so that's certainly a big factor, I think. Thanks for sharing that, Emmanuel. I would love to know if other people want to share their reasons or how their experience learning American English is going. I would love to hear it. I think it's fun, but I also understand, as a language learner, I understand it's a difficult process. A lot of times when you're learning languages, you're like, today you speak English great, or you speak whatever language you're studying great, but then tomorrow, or even like 5 hours later, you're like, I can't say anything right. It's very much an up and down situation, and the research also says that if you're speaking a language and some days you feel like you're speaking worse, the fact is you actually might be speaking worse. And that's okay. It's not like every single day you get better. No, some days you actually do get better and some days you get worse. That's unfortunately part of the process. Alejandro, thank you again for stopping in. Your first stream. That's really great. It's great to have you. I hope to see you in future streams. We're doing this every Saturday at this time. Listen to your pronunciation files. They also write, this is fact that English produced from a different place than other languages like Spanish. Truth. I think a lot of European languages, even going to lump British English into that group as well, the placement is much more similar and higher. Okay. Much higher production, much higher placement. Whereas again, American English coming from a lower position. Yeah. My mom knows for Edwards, things sounds interesting. Technology changes so quickly, and writing is the best way to keep up. That is very true. Great. And we get some nice warm welcome. That is great. And Bilal, coming out of the shadows to say exactly right. Some days are hard. Yes, 100%. Learning languages, if only every day were easy. But then everyone would be doing. Yeah. You have a bad day, just be like, okay, today's going to be harder than other days. That's fine. Just part of the process. Unfortunately, don't let it get you down. Alejandro asking the important questions. How do I send an audio clip? Let me show you, man. Give me a moment to get back to our main screen here. Okay, and again, if you're watching, whether you're watching on Facebook or welcome. Again, we do this live stream every single Saturday at this time. But you want to go to this document. Post this in the chat box, but you go in the video description. I'm going to send in an audio file. Okay, this is what you want to go to. Go into this link. You will see this up top. You'll see directions. It's going to send you to vocab.com. Vocab is going to look like this. Okay, you'll see a record button. Record it, save it. It's going to give you a link. You put the link here, and I'm going to be able to hear it. Oh my gosh, is that Zubaida? Zubaida, are you in the house? Zubaida and I are about to fight. We got the USA and we got Iran coming. Next matchup. Whoever wins, I think, is guaranteed to make it to the next round. So just some little things at stake. Okay. And my mom knows some days are hard for her too, and she speaks American English every day. She's a native speaker, of course. All right, let's listen to, this is the file we just heard, right?
Soft you.
Yes. Thanks again to Shok for sending her file. Take a quick water break before we listen to the next one here, but it's just gentle reminder, if you want to help out the channel, all right, let's take a listen here.
Hi, everyone. It's Thanksgiving weekend here in the United States. I want to thank my sister-in-law, Carlene, for her fabulous food. I love her peach cobbler. Do any of you like to cook or bake? Share your recipes, please.
Oh, snap. We got a request for recipes, people. If you have a favorite recipe or a link to a favorite recipe, let us know. Got to cut this down a little bit just to make it fit. Okay. Again, this is from my mom. She's a native speaker, just a note. Okay. So let's talk about what are some things that are happening here.
Hi, everyone. It's Thanksgiving weekend here in the United States. I want to thank my sister-in-law, Carlene, for her fabulous food. I love her peach cobbler. Do any of you like to cook or bake? Share your recipes, please.
Oh my gosh. Emmanuel is asking the important questions, but I am so... This is a really... that's a sad, sad thing. If you've never had peach cobbler before, I'm disappointed for you. The one United States, though. It is a dessert. Ooh, might be having this is peach cobbler. It's a dessert. It's very sweet. But if you like peaches and if you like pretty much like pie crust, it's delicious. Anyways, Sabina making the mention that she is not supporting Team Iran. Got you. I know there've been a lot of protests and things like that, although they're making it super, super complicated to do things like that over in Qatar. So not surprising. Or Qatar. All right, Mom and Dad, you guys have a safe trip back to Philadelphia. Thank you. Drive safe. Thank you for stopping by to stream too. Yes, please give me a recipe. Record yourself saying a recipe. I'll be happy to take a look at that pronunciation. Emmanuel says that sounds yummy because it is super yummy. It's probably my favorite dessert. That or sweet potato pie. If anyone likes sweet potato pie. By the way, guys, be sure to let me know in the poll. I want to know about why are you studying American English and things like that. And again, like the sound is again our reigning or our current champion, but that can all change. Let's listen to this file again to kind of talk about what's happening in American English to make this sound more natural.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. So notice there, she's using rising intonation at the end, which is a possibility. It lets your listener know that more information is coming. Hi, everyone. You could also say, hi, everyone.
It's Thanksgiving weekend here in the United States.
Notice that here, she's also using rising intonation again on United States. States. Hear that little waver?
It's Thanksgiving weekend here in the United States.
States. And what that does is, again, it kind of lets you know that more information is coming as well. The way the rhythm is here, it does kind of sound like it's red versus something that you're kind of saying spontaneously in conversation. I'll try to identify some of the reasons why.
Hi, everyone. It's Thanksgiving weekend here.
It's Thanksgiving weekend. You know, I think that sounds, you could say that is a very natural rhythm, I think, for spoken English. It's Thanksgiving weekend.
It's Thanksgiving weekend here in the United States.
Here in the United States. It's Thanksgiving weekend here in the United States. Thanksgiving weekend here in the United States. I think if you'd said it like that, I think it would have sounded more like what you would hear in spoken English versus like reading a script or anything in the United States. It's Thanksgiving weekend here in the United States. States, or maybe even go a little higher on the intonation, like in the United States.
And here in the United States, I want to thank my sister-in-law, Carlene, for.
I want to thank my
sister-in-law, Carlene.
I want to thank my sister-in-law, Carlene. You know, again, obviously my mom's a native speaker, so that rhythm is perfectly fine. Again, if you want this, I think in terms of like spontaneous conversation, like I want to thank, like, I think starting off like that would be a little bit more common in terms of like actual conversation. If, again, not reading. I want to thank my mom notes. See, the mother gets critiqued too. No one is safe. No one is safe here at the Schwa mill. No one is safe. No one. Other things.
My sister-in-law Carlene for her fabulous food. I love her peach cobbler.
For fabulous food. For fabulous food.
Food. I love her peach cobbler. Do any of
I love her peach cobbler. I love her peach cobbler.
love her peach cobbler?
I love her peach cobbler. Love her peach cobbler. Sorry, Mom. My apologize for criticizing. It's not critiquing. It's just explaining. Obviously, it sounds natural. It's just, again, like spoken versus like written.
I love her peach cobbler.
I love her peach cobbler. I feel like love a lot of times in spoken English, when love is used, a lot of times it tends to be your heaviest stress. Like, I love her peach cobbler. Like something like that. I think is an option for a little bit more common for like
Love
spoken.
her peach cobbler. Do any of you like to cook or bake?
Any of you like to cook or bake? Do any of you? I think a lot of times if this were again spoken and not like read, I would probably stress you. Like, do any of you like to cook or bake? Like, do any of you like to cook or bake? Notice also too how high that pitch is at the end. Like, do any of you like to do this? Like, do any of you do this? Like, that's I think a very common pattern. Like, do any of you? Just in terms of that. But hopefully those things are helpful. Let me know in the chat. Edward saying, making his mouth water with such tasty comments. Yes. Mine too. I haven't really eaten much for lunch. We're talking about dessert. Guys make me skip all my meals, but that's cool. All right. Thank you again to my mom. Thanks also to Emmanuel, because we love Jeff criticism. Yes. A lot of people tell me that, like, when they're talking, like even just like friends like in the US, they're like, oh man, whenever I'm about to do something, I have Jeff in my head. Like, oh, what would Jeff say about this? I don't know why. Don't know why. Okay. Alejandro notes. I just left a recording down in the document. Oh man, he was able to go through the steps. That's what's up. Thank you for sending that file, Alejandro. I'm excited to listen to it. Okay, I've gone through our first batch of recording, which is also exciting. And I think we also need to do a new poll. Just going to take a quick look at our current one, so you guys can see this on the side. So, why are you studying American English? Ooh, like the sound has dropped to 47%, but it looks like it's still going to be our champion for today. 47% of people responded, said they liked the sound. Other biggest motivation was for work. Got you. Gotcha. Thanks to those of you who took part in our poll. Try to do a new one before we take a look at our next files. Start a new poll. Next question for you guys. Which American English pronunciation, or maybe like which part pronunciation you find most difficult? Is it the breath? Is it placement? Direction from the right spot. Vowels. Linking. All right, no, I can't. I can only do 4 options. All right, well, we get 4. If it's other, let me know in the chat box. Let me know in the chat box what you guys think. Okay. All right. But sure, let me know in our latest poll which part of pronunciation you guys find to be most difficult. Edward saying linking. Mohammed. What's up, Mohammed? Great to see you. Mohammed is saying intonation. Emmanuel lets me know we have some surprise guests in the chat box, which I'll be taking a moment. So that's exciting. Wonder who they could be. Again, Edward saying linking. Mohammed saying intonation. Okay, I have not seen some of these files, so I do need to kind of vet them just to make sure that they are cool. Joe Schmo. Let's do this. I want to just talk about a real quick opportunity that we have. So we mentioned earlier again, we were doing Mission English, and kind of just to highlight Mission English, we're currently doing to the end of December. We are doing a progression called a promotion. Excuse me, a promotion called Friendsgiving. Friendsgiving. If you join Mission English with a friend, I will give you a free one-on-one class with me. And I'll also give your friend a free one-on-one class with me. So if you're trying to get some pronunciation feedback with me, in addition to our Mission English daily live streams Monday through Friday in a private Facebook group, you also want to get a one-on-one class as well. Here's your opportunity. Join Mission English, mention Friendsgiving, use the code, and we'll get you signed up. Can just join Mission English with a friend, send me a message, we'll get you a free class, send your friend a free class. Okay, just kind of something to keep you going. But another thing, maybe the cost is prohibitive. Mission English is $30 a month. You get 18 classes for $30. But maybe this is not the best time. A lot of people saying that we're in a recession right now. I get you. Okay. So the dollar is very strong. I understand. But you still want to get some pronunciation help every day? Well, another option that we have is a group on Telegram. Okay, what happens in our Telegram group is every single day of the week, I post a challenge, including weekends. I post a challenge. You can reply and get some feedback from me. So basically, one sound we were looking at, I forget, over the weekend was the R sound. It's like looking at our final R sounds. Okay, so in the Telegram group, I post a couple words. You can hear them, and then you can send in your own audio. I listen to you, and I give you feedback, very much like what we do today. But if you want what we're doing today every single day of the week, this is in our Telegram group. You can go to patreon.com/fluentamerican for that. Or another option is you can just go to fluentamerican/Mission English and join there as well. Just to give you kind of a quick idea what our Telegram group is like, let me show you. Eel, please. I think your O sounds are a little bit tense. I'm getting a lot of O.
Take off the T on center.
Elchin, being our guest, Elchin is actually joining us just to kind of get a taste of the group. He's like, I don't know if this is for me or not. And I was like, okay, why don't you join us for a couple days, just kind of see if you like it. Send us some pronunciation files last night. I took a look at them, sent him some feedback. I'm glad it sounds like he's already enjoying it, which is great. But it would be great to have you guys there as well. We're trying to help out as many people at an affordable price. I know pronunciation can be expensive. There's lots of people doing some crazy things out there price-wise. So trying to keep it pronunciation affordable. Okay. And thank you so much for the kind words, Elchin. I really appreciate that. In fact, we're going to be listening to your pronunciation files in a moment. But again, I do need to check these files. So I appreciate your patience as I listen to these. Speaking of that, we did Marcos's. Fernando sent us one. That's great. Oh no! Fernando, I cannot see your file. Fernando, if you're watching, can you send us another file? One is not working. I'm not sure why. Send me another one. I'll be happy to listen to it.
There's no reason to worry about it. We'll cross the bridge when you encounter it.
Okay, got that one. Alejandro, I see yours. I'm taking a look at it now. Ooh. Got a great voice for that. Cool, cool, cool.
Hey, Jeff, can you talk about pitch a little bit?
Okay, Zobedo, is your file an actual question too, or are you just saying that? Let me know if you want some also want me to talk about pitch too. Doa's here. Hey.
Hi Jeff, how's it going?
And literally as I say that.
World Cup games. Actually, I'm from Egypt, but unfortunately, we're not in the World Cup. My team.
I know Egypt. Yeah. Talk about that. Cool.
Heard of Argentina losing to Saudi Arabia in the last game? Like it was a shock for everyone, you know. But I'm not gonna lie, like I was so happy about that because it was the first time an Arab country to win Argentina.
Okay, lots of great things here. Checking one last file, guys, then we'll be going.
Why is it okay for women to say, "Oh, you're not 6 feet" on dating sites? You should be. That's okay.
Okay, I think this will work. Okay, at this time, I do think I'm going to have to close the file for spreadsheets, so please do not send any more audio files. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll have time to get to them, but I do think we'll have time to get through all the ones that we have here, which is great. Okay. Let me share my screen. And thanks again to everyone who sent pronunciation files or has said hey in the chat. If you are watching this right now, yes, you, I'm talking to you, and you haven't said anything the entire stream, can you just say like hi? You can disappear again. That's fine. But I just want to know you're here. Just let me know. And again, we also have a poll going up on YouTube. According to our votes right now, which part of pronunciation do you find most difficult? In first place, placement. So where are you projecting from? That is almost half of people. Breath and vowels are equal. And then other in last place in our poll right now. Of course, you can let me know your thoughts on that too. Let me know where you're finding to be most difficult. Let me share my screen. Share my audio as well, because sometimes I forget that and I make Emmanuel very angry. Okay. And thanks again to Elshin for the kind words. Okay, let's take a look and see what we have here. Quick note from Mackenzie. Mackenzie, can I participate with you? All right, Mackenzie, if you can send us an audio file within like the next like 3 or 4 minutes, well, we can try to squeeze you in, okay? But please try to do it soon. Okay. And Zubeda again asked about pitch, set for work, but I'm like, yes, we can talk a little bit about that. Oh, and who's Emmanuel? Emmanuel, if you want to show yourself, you can show yourself. I will leave it up to him to see if he wants to reveal the big secret. Who is Emmanuel? And he does. That's great. Okay, I think I'm sharing everything I need to share. Let's might mix up the view a little bit. Need to see the screen big. There we go. Okay, let's listen to this one right here.
The girl is slowly understanding that everyone in this world commits mistakes. Remember this bit of information.
Okay, it's from Elshin again. Okay. Here we go. Let's listen again.
The girl is slowly understanding that everyone in this world commits mistakes.
Okay, I want to highlight some things here.
The girl is slowly understanding that...
The girl is slowly understanding. So one thing I'm going to say is that to me, it does sound like your placement's a little bit high and slightly closed off. It's very clear. Okay, I know what this is not an issue of clarity. I imagine that when you say most things in American English, people probably understand you just fine. If though you're like, people understand me, but I don't know if I have that real like natural sound, I think the reason could be that your placement's so high that it's changing the quality of everything.
The girl is slowly
like the girl is slowly. That's kind of what I feel like I'm hearing. The girl is slowly.
The girl is slowly
The girl is slowly. The girl is slowly. Can you hear that difference in sound? Like the girl is slowly. The girl is slowly. And the girl is. You know, so it's a couple of combinations. You know, I think it's a high placement. I also think we're kind of really restricted breath and airflow. Okay. One thing you can try doing is I don't think you're really involving your diaphragm. I think you're doing a lot of projection from your lungs. And I think I may have mentioned this in the Telegram group too. One thing you can try to do to kind of test yourself to see is, let me kind of change my position a little bit so you guys can see me a little better. Let me make this a little bigger. 1 second here. Yeah, let me hide this just for a moment. Okay, so one way you can kind of test this a little bit is like take your knuckles, put them on your ribs, okay, and take a big breath in. And did you see that when I breathed in, my knuckles kind of expanded there a little bit? And so what I want to do is when I talk, I want my fists to slowly contract and kind of close in a little bit. And that's a sign that I'm engaging my diaphragm more. If that doesn't happen, if my hands stay at the same spot, then that means I'm really kind of just working my lungs. I'm not really working my diaphragm. So for instance, breathe in. The girl is slowly. The girl is slowly. Notice that again. My fists there aren't really moving. Okay, so when I try to gauge my diaphragm more, the girl is slowly. Again, the girl is slowly. Especially at the end there, I'm not sure if you can see it, but things are kind of slowly contracting a little bit. So just trying to engage the diaphragm a little bit more. Another option that you can do too, let me get back to normal position, is like just take that phrase and like say it like 5 times, and each time try to go down a little bit. Like the girl is slowly, the girl is slowly, the girl is slowly, the girl is slowly, the girl is slowly. And you can even keep going. The girl is slowly, the girl is slowly, the girl is slowly. You know, and just kind of keep going to kind of just play around with your placement. Because most likely you're doing ones that are kind of at the higher position and not really using those ones that are at the lower position. I recommend there. Play around with your placement and just get a better understanding of what your body is doing. Okay, I think a lot of this is just kind of awareness. Other things here. Try to highlight some sounds there that are sounding particularly tense and high.
The girl is slowly.
The L sounds like girl, girl, oh. So I'd really recommend for girl at the end having the tip of your tongue down. So it's not oh or This is more of a dark L sound. Girl, girl. It's not girl, girl. Okay, lower your tongue. Even on slowly, you can say slowly with the tip of your tongue against your bottom front tooth the entire time. Slowly, slowly, slowly. It's the middle of your tongue that makes contact, if anything makes contact. There's nothing wrong with having your tongue higher, but what that does tend to do is it does tend to close up the sound a little bit. So just a note on the quality there. Other things.
The girl is slowly understanding that.
Understanding again could get a little bit more air through there on that.
Girl is slowly understanding that everyone in this world commits mistakes.
That I like what you're doing with pitch. Like the girl is slowly understanding, so you're going up on that stand that everyone, so you had these opportunities with high pitch. I would like you to also incorporate some more lower pitches because you're kind of staying in that same spot.
The girl is slowly understanding.
Do that. The girl is slowly versus the girl is slowly understanding. The girl is slowly understanding. Do you hear how much lower I'm going? The girl is slowly under. So notice how low I am on the understanding. The girl is slowly understanding. The girl is slowly understanding. So just kind of increase your variety. I think you're doing a great job with the high pitches. I want your low pitches to go lower. Other things.
That everyone in this world commits mistakes.
That everyone in this world commits mistakes. I would have just stressed everyone. You don't need the other stresses. Take off the other stresses. That everyone in this world makes mistakes. And then notice again with those lower pitches. Everyone in this world makes mistakes. Everyone in this world makes mistakes. It's going down, 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 down. Everyone in this world makes mistakes. Just kind of increasing our pitch range, I think, would be very, very helpful.
Commits mistakes.
Mistakes. I just put a video out about the A sound.
It's mistakes.
Aches, mistakes versus mistakes. I do think your vowel is shifting a little bit as it gets from the A to the K sound. Like mistakes, aches versus aches, aches. Keeping the vowel consistent and not shifting right before that K. Other things.
Remember this bit of information.
Remember this bit. You're giving me the same pitch over and over again. Remember this bit. Remember this bit.
Remember this bit of
remember this bit versus remember this bit of information. 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 So that's probably my biggest thing in addition to breath and placement is just pitch, low pitches. I think you're doing a good job with the high pitches. I want you to increase your variety for the lower ones. Okay. Elchin, those are my big suggestions there. If anything is not clear, sure, let me know. But thank you so much for sending your file. We do appreciate it. And by the way, guys, if you want to help me out, just some quick reminders of things you can do. take a look at our next pronunciation file. This one we just listened to, right?
Fully understand.
Yes. If you guys found that helpful, let me know in the chat. Mackenzie, if you're still here, did you send us a file? Unless you're Danny. I didn't hear the soundbite. That's weird. I don't know what happened. Thanks for telling me, man. I don't know about it. Maybe it was too low. Oh well. These things happen. And now, thank you so much for valuable feedback. It's super helpful. That's great. I'm glad you found it helpful. That's what we're going for. Oh, I wonder just because I was sharing my screen. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Alejandro asks a really great question that I want to answer. Alejandro asks, do you speak other languages? If so, does awareness of placement help producing them better? Yeah, if I focus. I think the problem with languages is that you need to be 100% focused every single time you talk, for every single thing you say, for entire sentences. That's really hard, especially because I'm not. So, for instance, with Italian, I talk in as best Italian. I'm not a native speaker, but I talk in as best Italian as I can with my son. But every time you're kind of swapping languages, like with my wife, I speak in English. She doesn't speak any other languages. Doing that sort of swapping does have an impact on your accent and things like that. It makes it harder to maintain it. It would be much easier if I was in an Italian speaking area, so I do my best to keep it in mind. But one thing that you may be interested in, Alejandro, I've tried to do a video just to kind of demonstrate how I would go about using placement and breath in language learning. I think this you may like. Basically, I gave myself the challenge. I was like, can I learn can I sound as natural? But obviously a challenge, and I don't know how well I did, but what I did was I tried learning Japanese, try to get as good a Japanese accent as I could in 30 minutes. So if you go on my page, if you scroll down to where it says YouTube collaborations, I have this video where basically I tried to learn a Japanese accent in 30 minutes. And I walk through the things that if I were learning another language right now, the things I would consider. So I would start off with trying to find out what sound people make when they're thinking. I would start off with trying to find out where's the placement. I would try to start off by finding out how much breath comes through the throat. I think just by starting off with those things, placement, breath, thinking sound, knowing if the language is more focused on vowels or consonant sounds, these I think are all really important aspects to achieving a natural sound in American English. So those are the things that I try doing that video, and you can listen to it and see if you hear a difference. I also I got a teacher, and I pretty much asked my teacher to evaluate me and tell me what do typical Americans sound like when they learn Japanese and versus how I sounded, so you can hear the comparisons between typical beginners and how I did. So that might be something that interests you for that video. Elchin asks, do you think that can ever sound like a true native speaker? Good question. If so, how long do you think it may take me to do that? If I practice 1 hour every day, following your advice, I think it depends on so many factors. It depends on where you are. Depends on how exposed you are to the language. Are you in a place that speaks it every day? How often are you using your first language? These are all things that do have a factor in terms of your pronunciation. But again, I think that if you're able to get the right breath, I think that if you're able to use your full range of pitches, and I think if you're able to get your placement just a slightly lower position, I do think that you can achieve a pretty natural sound. I think I'm more optimistic than a lot of people are with regards to can you sound like a native speaker. There's probably still going to be times where your accent might slip through, but I think it's possible, especially for short conversations and short sentences, I think it's possible to get to a point where you could fool people. I do think that's possible myself. I'm not sure if that fully answers your question or not, but that's personally how I would answer it. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing how I would approach learning another language, and that's what this video is about. Elchin mentioning that they teach English. You're not telling me teacher. Where's Lobeta? She's an English teacher too. Teach English in 10 hours plus every day. That's a long day, man. I'm not jealous of that. Oh my gosh. But that's great. You're in a situation, but that's also tricky because if you're teaching English, you're probably talking to a lot of non-native speakers. So that is kind of one thing just to always kind of be cognizant of, trying to put yourself in as many positions as possible to be communicating with native speakers is really key. Give me one moment to share once more. We're going to try to crank out these last few pronunciation files. Give me one moment. Okay, so what we heard.
There is no reason to.
Nope. Jesse. Okay. And Alejandro asks, "Was the name of that video?" Moment. I can pull it up again. And again, it'll be over. Next section. How I learned a whole new accent fast. And so can you. How I learned a whole new accent fast. And so can you. It's from a month ago. Okay. And again, Jesse's file.
There is no reason to worry about it. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Okay, some things here.
There is no reason to worry about.
There's no reason to worry about. Are you stressing it?
There is no reason to worry about it.
There's no reason to worry about it. So maybe you're stressing about. There's no reason to worry about. I would either stress no. There's no reason to worry about it, or there's no reason to worry about it, or stress worry. I would pick one of those. I probably wouldn't do about. There's no reason to worry about it. No reason to worry about it. A lot of times the theirs might not even be said. Like, hey, no reason to worry about it. But if you keep the theirs, that's fine. I would again put the stress on. No, there's no reason to worry about it, or there's no reason to worry about it. Worry might be the more natural one, actually. Okay. Other things there.
There's no reason to worry about it.
There's no reason to worry about it. You can use a rising intonation. That's okay. You may also hear falling intonation on it. There's no reason to worry about it. Or there's no reason to worry about it. There's no reason to worry about it. There's no reason to worry about it.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
And come to it. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So really heavy stress on come.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Cross that bridge when we come to it. Cross that bridge when we come to it. I would probably stress cross more heavily than come. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Yeah.
Worry about it. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Versus we'll cross that bridge when we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. That's personally how I would say that. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. You could put the higher stress there if you wanted. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. If you do put the stress there towards the end, I wouldn't go as high because you're that's a little bit too high. Versus like cross that bridge when we come to it. You want the pitches when you're going higher to kind of flow naturally with where you were before. So it's not because that's a little too high. Versus that'd be a little bit more natural. Again, it's like steps. You're going up or you're going down steps. You don't want one step to be too far away from the previous step. Otherwise, you're going to trip and fall. Aside from that, though,
there's no reason to worry about it. There's no reason to worry about it. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
I watch it also for come with the schwa sound. So it's not ka, it's more k. K. It's like k. It's just a note there with the schwa sound. A short sentence does the biggest things. Unfortunately, I think having different stresses would have had a pretty big impact on the rhythm of this sentence. So I'd be curious to see how those would sound. But those would definitely be my most major suggestions there. Compare how you said it to mine. Make new recordings and things and compare, and let me know how it goes. But thank you so much for sending that file. If you have some other questions for me about anything there, be sure to let me know. Bilal makes a note. I mean, it seems American English is all about breathing, and everything comes after breath, vowel, consonants, etc. In my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably one of the biggest differences between American English and other variations of English is the amount of breath. British English is a lot more closed off. It's also higher placement. American English is really about that breath. It's how you link sentences together. You keep the breath flowing. If I stop the breath, like for instance, that sentence there, keep the breath flowing. If I stop the breath, it's going to sound like keep the breath flowing. Versus keep the breath flowing, keep the breath flowing. So it just allows you to kind of keep going in a much more fluent way. A lot of people think that to sound fluent in American English, you need to talk quickly. That's not really true. The key is really more about breath. Can you keep the airflow going from one word to the next? Listen to our next one here.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Okay. This is Alejandro. Cool. Great. Always excited to hear some new people. Always excited. Okay, we'll have that in a moment, and I'll be able to pull that up. Again, pronunciation, you find. Oh, wow, it's a very close one. Placement is in the lead, but very closely followed by breath and vowel sounds. Those are tied. And then some people said other, which is great. You can let me know too in the chat. Emmanuel asks a quick question too. I'm not sure which country would say I'm from by hearing my accent. Ooh, it's always a tricky one. Let me listen to see. Oh God. Sometimes my wife will do this. She'll play me a file and just be like, hey, where are they from?
The girl is slowly understanding.
Right, yeah.
The girl is slowly understanding that everyone in this world commits mistakes. Remember this bit of information.
This is a tricky one.
The girl is slowly understanding that everyone in this world commits mistakes. Remember this bit of information.
Yeah, let me play it one more time.
The girl is slowly understanding that everyone in this world commits mistakes. Remember this bit of information.
This is a tricky one. I wish I would have quizzed you on some different features, but just based on what I have here.
The girl is slowly understanding.
Okay, so we get some little things like an E sound, also really high placement and closed off sound. But that's that's a lot of language groups. It's heavy L sounds.
The girl is slowly understanding that everyone in this world commits mistakes.
Mistakes and also that A sound.
Remember this bit of information.
Remember this. Remember this.
Remember this bit of information.
Bit of information. It's also, I mean, I think it's also clear that they've studied some pronunciation before, so that kind of also makes it complicated. I don't know. I would maybe guess. Edward asks maybe a Slavic country. Emmanuel says they have no idea. I was thinking Slavic country as well, but it doesn't sound like. I don't know about Russia though. It doesn't sound Russian, but Slavic.
The girl is slowly understanding that everyone in this world commits mistakes. Remember this bit of information.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking like maybe somewhere Eastern Europe. I don't know. You don't have to answer. You can just tell us right or wrong. But that would be my guess. Alejandro gets Middle East. That doesn't sound Arabic.
The girl is slowly understanding that everyone in this world commits mistakes. Remember this bit of information.
It doesn't sound Arabic to me. It doesn't sound Farsi to me. It doesn't sound Hebrew.
The girl
This
is
is a tough
slowly
question.
understanding
It's spending more
that
time on this than I
everyone
thought
in
I
this
would.
world commits mistakes. Remember this bit of information.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go out just somewhere in Eastern Europe. Doesn't sound African, like anywhere in Africa. I'm gonna go Eastern Europe. Let me know how wrong I am. That is a good question. Going back to this file. That's it. Hey, yeah, we got some Azeris here. Yeah, definitely did not sound Middle Eastern to me. Didn't sound Indian. Yeah. And it's not its typical Russian accent, but there are definitely some like Slavic, those like harsh. I want to say harsh, like those like tensor L sounds and things like that. Yeah. Yeah. Got you. Hey. We're happy about that. We'll take that. We'll take that.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Okay. Going back to this. Thank you for your patience for this file. What we got?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Your guess good as mine.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Okay, one thing I'm going to say immediately. I am all for reductions. I love reductions. I think we might be reducing a little too much because I am not hearing that is.
Your guess is as good as mine.
I feel like I'm hearing your guess as good as mine. Your guess as good as mine. We need to have a little bit of that verb to be here.
Your guess is as good as.
Your guess is. Your guess is. That's honestly, I think that's the way you're going to hear this. Like your guess is as good. Your guess is as good. Your guess is as good. Something like that, I think, is going to be the more natural rhythm. Your guess is as good. Your guess is as good.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Is as good as mine. Guesses. Yes, that's kind of the sound you want to make. Guesses is good. Guesses is good. So it's more. This is a really tricky cluster because it's going to be guesses is good. It's like guesses is good. Guesses is good. So it's like an S sound and a Z sound and another Z sound. Guesses is good. Guesses is good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. Emmanuel, if you're still here, how about that reduction? Isn't that great? Your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Your guess is as good as mine. Other thing I want to talk about here, this is such a short sentence, so there's not like a whole lot I can give you, but I will say that and Bala says they like that a lot. Yeah, they do. Yeah, because so much breath is going. In terms of using the reduction or removing the word completely.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Oh, cutting entire words. Yeah, I understand.
Your guess is as good as mine.
What's the word that's standing out? You know, I think that we have some very clear stresses here, which is good.
Your guess is as good as mine.
But the problem is there's so many. Your, good, mine. All of them kind of feel like they're getting the same amount of weight. Emmanuel's saying kind of how they would say it. Understood there. Okay.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. I would pick one word to be the heaviest stress because right now everything's kind of like equal. Everyone's like fighting for the heaviest weight. We need something to kind of stand out more though.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Your guess is as good as mine. Like your guess is as good as mine. That if I did like that, then I'm stressing your. Your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. Or I could just stress mine. Your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. You know, but I think we need to pick something that's going to be your heaviest. Okay, because right now everything's kind of fighting for it. And I think that'll have a pretty big impact on your rhythm.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Good. The other problem with having these many stresses is that your pitch, you're never going to be able to give me a good range because you keep, every time you stress a word, you're pulling us back up in pitch. So we're never able to go down. Everything's stuck in like this midpoint. Your guess is as good as mine versus your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. You know, something like that. Now I'm able to go down more, right? Or if I just stress mine, your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. As good as mine. So we need fewer stresses. That's going to increase our range of pitches that we can use, and that's going to help us attain a more natural sound. Okay, so that's going to be my big recommendation by far. Alejandro, if you have any questions about that, be sure to let me know. But thank you so much for sending this file. Hope to see you again next week too with another pronunciation file. So thank you so much for sending that. Let's see what I missed in the chat. People talking about cutting entire words. I will sound Egyptian. No, definitely. 100 says thank you very much. Of course, my pleasure. No, though I don't think you have a super heavy Egyptian accent at all. So I would disagree with that. Our next one.
Hey Jeff, can you talk about pitch a little bit?
Okay, and thank you. And just so you put the words up. So hey Jeff, can you talk about pitch a little bit? If we can.
Hey Jeff.
Hey Jeff. Hey Jeff. Hey Jeff. So you're kind of like, hey Jeff, can you go maybe like how about that
Hey Jeff.
Jeff, your S sound is a little bit closed off. If versus F. Actually, I literally just made a video talking about the S sound with like letters, like saying like F, S, L, M, like that sound. I would like that placement to be a little lower. F, F. Okay, it's just kind of something to watch out for.
Hey Jeff, can you talk about pitch a little bit?
Can you talk about pitch?
Hey Jeff, can you talk about pitch?
Can you talk about pitch? That's fine. Speaking of pitch, like, can you talk about pitch? So you're going down on the about. Can you talk about pitch? I think that's fine. Another thing that you'll see with questions a lot too is that the question word at the start will often go higher too. That's not really happening here. I'm hearing like, can you talk about pitch versus can you talk about pitch? Like, can you talk about pitch? Like, can you, or maybe the stress is actually there would be on you. Like, can you talk about pitch? That's just another rhythm that you can use that would again add some variation to your speech. Like, can you talk about pitch? Can you talk about pitch a little bit?
Can you talk about pitch a little bit?
A little bit, a little bit, a little bit. Again, I would expand the range there too. A little bit, a little bit, little bit, little bit. Can you talk about pitch a little bit? Can you talk about pitch a little bit? So I think something like that will be helpful. Can you talk about pitch a little bit? So I would experiment, start off with a very restricted range. Can you talk about pitch a little bit? Then try to open it a little bit more. Can you talk about pitch a little bit? Can you talk about pitch a little bit? Can you talk about pitch a little bit? Just kind of experiment with some ranges. Go a little lower on the lows, go a little higher on the highs, and just kind of hear the difference that it makes. Can you talk about pitch a little bit? Can you talk about pitch a little bit? Just hear the difference in the range. Thank you, Edward, for the kind words on the video you found interesting. I'll try to see your question. I'll be there in a moment. Emmanuel does ask us, can you reduce can you talk about, yeah, you can do that. Can you talk? That's a very common reduction for that. Can you talk? And Elchin also asks, have you ever made an English learner sound truly native? I mean, yeah, I met people with some really good I was an IELTS examiner for a while. You can get a 9 on IELTS if you're not a native speaker. It happens. It's super hard to do, but I met some people with really good accents. Oftentimes they're living in North America or a place that speaks English, and oftentimes they're not really using their first language much anymore. It's this kind of realities. But if you can surround yourself with it, yeah, I think it's possible. It's hard to do, but I think it's possible.
Hey Jeff, can you talk about pitch a little bit?
Yeah, and of course, some common pitch exercises. It's a lot like singing practice. Take like a sound and just go down a couple times, like da 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 da. Then go back up from that low point. It's like da 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 da. Then see if you can go higher, like da 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 da. And then can you do all of that together, like da 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 da. Just doing like exercises like that can be really helpful. You can join everything together. He's like, just doing things like that really are helpful for expanding the range. It's just a note there. Zoya, thank you for sending that file. I appreciate it.
Hi, Jeff. How's it going?
Okay. Okay. I have completely missed our timestamps. My last timestamp was at 54:55. That was almost an hour ago. That was almost an hour ago. Oh my gosh. I had such a great run. I always forget. Okay. I was surprised Egypt. Egypt usually does very well in qualifying. I was surprised. I know they had that kind of controversial game. So. Okay. All right, so because it's such a long file, I was going to kind of play some small parts and just kind of highlight some things. I hope that's okay.
Hi, Jeff. How's it going?
I really like Jeff. Said my name great.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. Jeff, great. Lots of air.
Hi, Jeff. How's it going?
How's it going was a little flat. How's it going? A little robotic. How's it going? Versus how's it going? Hey, Jeff. How's it going? You know, probably or like, how's it going? If you wanted more of that intonation pattern, how's it going? You want to how's it going? You want to go a little lower on the how's it just to add some variety there. How's it going? Hey, Jeff, how's it going? Something like that.
Do you follow 22 World Cup games?
Just a quick note, you'll want the 22. You follow the 22 World Cup games?
Follow 22 World Cup games?
Do you follow the... One of the things, you're kind of putting yourself in a difficult position because you're starting with a really high pitch. So now everything has to be really high.
Do you follow 22 World Cup games?
Do you follow the 22 World Cup games? You know, because I started high, everything has to shift higher too. Do you follow the World Cup 22 games? Like something like that. Versus you could have gone a little lower. Might give you some more breathing room, a little more runway. Do you follow the 22 World Cup games? World Cup games? You want to stress cup as well. World Cup games? Do you follow the 22 World Cup games? You could also just say, are you following the World Cup? That's a very common way of saying it. Do you follow the world? Are you following the World Cup? Do you follow World Cup? I am a little bit. Mostly just kind of seeing what the U.S. does, but keep an eye on other teams too.
22 World Cup games. Actually, I'm from Egypt.
Listen to your Lee sound.
Actually,
a little tense and high there. A little lower. One placement would help. Actually.
I'm from Egypt.
I'm from Egypt.
World Cup games. Actually, I'm from Egypt.
You could also use more of a short I sound than ipt, like Egypt. I'm from Egypt.
But unfortunately, we're not in the World Cup this time. You're giving me a lot of rising intonation. Everything's going up like this, a lot of up talk. We could use some more falling intonation, like unfortunately, that could have been a falling intonation. Unfortunately, we're not in the World Cup this time. You could also use a falling intonation on time. Just some opportunities there. Yeah, I'm from Egypt, but unfortunately, we're not in the World Cup this time.
Yeah, so one of those probably needs to go down in terms of intonation.
My team failed to qualify.
Because my team failed to qualify. Again, falling intonation, just a lot of up talk, just a lot of rising intonation.
But I think you must have heard of Argentina.
I think you must have heard. I think you must have heard about Argentina. I think you must have heard of. You had to have heard about. I'm sure you heard about. There's just some other phrases that might be more common than must have. Like I'm sure you heard about Argentina.
But I think you must have heard of Argentina.
And of course I did. Yeah, I used to teach tons and tons and tons of Saudi Arabian students. Yeah, so feeling good for them. Also for Shok.
Heard of Argentina losing to Saudi Arabia and
Saudi. Just watch out for that aw sound. Saudi. Saudi Arabia.
Losing to Saudi Arabia.
And it says Saudi because that's a little higher placement, right? Saudi.
The last game,
a little tester on game to game versus game. And again, I just posted a video about that A sound. That might be helpful. Linking the A sound to like an M. It's like game. It's not game. It's more game. Just a note there.
Arabia and the last game, it was a shock for everyone.
I think it was a shock. It was a shock for everyone. I would have gone high on shock. It was a shock. A little bit more asa says shock, more shock. It was a shock for everyone. That's a natural rhythm you could use.
But I'm not gonna lie, I was so happy about that because.
But I'm not gonna lie, I was so happy about that. That works there for the rising intonation.
But I'm not gonna lie, like I was so happy about that.
I'm not gonna lie, I was so happy about that. So is also a word that you could stress instead of happy. It says so happy, more so happy about that. So happy about that.
For everyone, you know. But I'm not gonna lie, like I was so happy about that because it was the first time an Arab country to win Argentina.
It's the first time an Arab country beat Argentina. Like beat would be a common word there. It's the first time an Arab country beat Argentina. First time an Arab country beat Argentina.
Happy about that because it was the first time an Arab country to win Argentina.
Argentina. I like your E sound there on Argentina. Yeah, just some real quick feedback there. So if you have any questions for me about anything I said, be sure to let me know. But thank you as always for sending files. Always great to hear from you. All right, I know Mackenzie sent us a file too. I want to make sure. But nobody is available. I think this is our last one. What's our time? 1:50. Our timestamp's going to look so crazy because this is going to be this hour-long gap. Okay. Well, here. Okay. Dum. Take a listen here.
So since today is Saturday, I like to go out with some friends, but nobody is available.
Okay.
So since today is Saturday, I like to go out with some friends, but nobody is available.
Quick say bye to Elchin. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Yeah, we're going to wrap up very soon, but it was great to see you. We'll see you in the Telegram group. Hope you're enjoying it. And yeah, thanks for sending us some audio. We appreciate it. Hope to see you next Saturday as well in the stream. But for this file.
So since today is Saturday.
Okay, so one thing is American English. When you have a T surrounded by vowels, very common for that to become like a fast D sound or flap T. So instead of Saturday, more sadder. Just kind of very quickly raising and lowering the tongue. Saturday. So say Saturday.
So since today is Saturday.
You hear that difference in Saturday. We could also weaken the R. So it's not Saturday, more Saturday. A little lighter on the R sound. Also want to hear since.
So since today.
Do it since versus since. Watch out for that short I sound. So it's not see. It's more se.
Today's Saturday.
Also, today's Saturday. You want that to be slightly voiced on that today's Saturday. A quick this sound.
I like to go out.
I'd like to go out. In terms of pitch, I'd like to go out. I'd like to go out. I'd probably stress like. Give a little higher pitch. I'd like to go out.
Like to go out.
Also, a little tense there on your placement, a little high. Like I'd like to go out. I like to go out versus I'd like to go out. I'd like to go out. So watch out for that I. I would do this progression like I lie like I lie like, and just kind of see how open you can get that I sound.
I like to go out.
Go out. I would lower your pitch on out and say I'd like to go out more. I'd like to go out. I'd like to go out. I'd like to go out. So lower pitch there on out.
Like to go out with some friends.
With, could the TH sound a little smoother? Say with some or with some.
With some friends.
It also is going to kind of link with the S, like with some. You can keep the tip of your tongue down against the bottom of your mouth. With some. It's not a normal TH there. It's probably going to be reduced. With some friends.
With some friends, but nobody is available.
Watch out for nobody. It's a schwa sound there, so it's not no ba. It's more no ba. It's like buddy, nobody. Buddy, nobody. Watch out for that schwa sound. So it's not ba, body. It's buddy. Try to work on that schwa sound just a little bit. Okay. Nobody. Nobody's available.
Friends, but nobody is available.
Available. Watch out also for that L. Available. This is going to be a dark L sound. So instead of having your tongue high, more avail. Ale. When that A sound links with an L, it breaks into two parts like ale, avail, available. So watch out for that dark L sound. Also at the end of the word too.
Friends, but nobody is available.
Nobody is available. versus nobody is available. Okay, so there's just a note there on the L sounds as well. I think studying some dark L's will be very, very helpful. Okay, we have a video on that as well. But thank you for sending those pronunciation file, or that pronunciation file. I appreciate it. Please send more. We hope to hear from you in the next stream, again, Saturday at this time. Okay. As just a real quick reminder before we start wrapping up our stream, if you are finding this helpful, things you can do to help me, like it. If you know other people studying American English, you can share it. It'll be great to see them, hear from them in the future. You know, another thing too is, again, we have our program Mission English, and basically we're doing a live stream Monday through Friday for 30-minute classes. You get access to 18 of them for the price of $30 every month. So you can subscribe if you go to missionenglish.com, a promotion that we're doing too, which we're really excited about because it's more fun with a friend, isn't it? So if you have a friend and if you join Mission English before January 1st, what's going to happen? You will get a free one-on-one class with me, and your friend will also get a free one-on-one class with me. So we would love to have you in Mission English. I would love to see you in class as well. So bring a friend, tell me who your friend is, and you both will get a free class with me. Let's take advantage of it. Let's get it going for Friendsgiving. Trying to keep that going. Other things are happening on the channel too. We are doing Novenglish. Not sure what Novenglish is. Every day during the month of November on the channel, I'm posting 1-minute videos, 1 to 2 minute videos that go over the fundamentals of American English pronunciation. So if you're not sure what to study in American English, but you want to study American English, this is the group of videos for you. Every day we cover a different topic. We're approaching the end. By the end of this, you will have all the fundamentals you need to study American English. So that's another thing that we are very excited about here on the channel.
Hey everyone, it's Jeff.
All my troubles seem so far.
Okay, alright.
All right, we have arrived at a very special moment in the channel where we have some guest celebrities, if I can call them that, who have sent us some pronunciation files that I would like to hear. Hopefully they are appropriate. The minute they are not, we will have to cut them. But in the meantime, as the manual says, it is time. So without further ado, let's listen to our first one.
I used to think my life was a tragedy. But now I realize it's a comedy.
Thank you, Joaquin Phoenix, for visiting our stream. That's very kind of you. I've not actually seen The Joker. I will be honest. I have not actually seen it. I'm a horrible person. Horrible, horrible person. Oh my gosh. Okay. And our last one here.
Why is it okay for women to say, oh, you're not 6 feet on dating sites? You should be. That's okay? Who said that to you? Nobody here. Women in general have said it on dating sites. You think I'm making that up? Everywhere I go, I get the same smirk with the biting lip.
But so angry. so angry. All right, guys, we have come to the point in the show where I think it is time to say goodbye. But again, if you have found this helpful, be sure to let me know in the stream. I will definitely appreciate that. If you know of other people learning American English, please let them know as well that we do this every single Saturday at this time in New York. But you've been watching The Schwa Mill, where we take a look and try to craft your accent every single Saturday at this time. Thank you so much for joining me. I understand that when it comes to American English, there are millions of resources out there. So the fact that you spent some time with me, not just spent time with me, but time on a Saturday, you can be doing a million other things. I truly understand, and I'm very grateful for. Hope to see you guys in the future edition next Saturday, where we keep reviewing your accent. Thank you so much for your time. You guys have a good day, have a good night, good afternoon. And keep an eye out. We also have a video coming up. Speaking of Novenglish, a little earlier, our next video for Novenglish is coming out. Actually, might already be out. I forget when I scheduled it for. So this kind of something to check out. If you haven't, take a look at, I think this one was the O sound. It's the O sound or the A sound. I forget which one. But yeah, take a look at that. And thank you for your time. And I will see you guys later. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good afternoon. And you guys take care.